G'day and welcome to Insights and Storytellings with me, Moon Willow. I really appreciate all of you who are continuing to contribute your energy to these at the moment and in the future. I really get a sense of you all being with me, and that gives me a warm feeling inside. It's really lovely. What I've been noticing for the past couple of days, if not a week, that I've had an intensity and an increase in my dream world. And it sort of came more to my attention last night because I got very tired quite early on in the evening, and I then avoided going to bed. So I found that quite curious and really felt into it and noticed that it was because I was worried about getting lost in the dream world, because they're that vivid at the moment and they're really quite intense. And I'm waking up with that real sense of not knowing whether I have actually awoken, whether what I've just dreamt about was actually a dream or was that a reality. So very much like a philosopher who once said he dreamt about being a butterfly that was so real that when he woke up he couldn't tell whether he was a man dreaming that he was a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming he was a man. And it feels like, for me anyway, at the moment, that that increase in the vibrational energy that's coming in has magnified these aspects of our lives. I know that there have been times in my life where I've maybe experienced that once or twice, but not with such regularity, and it feels like it's a daily thing, that emotional responses and reactions can be quite overwhelming, and that, as I say, it feels a lot more intense. It has that real feel. And for me as well, what I find more disturbing, I suppose, is that I've always used sleep, I guess, to escape is not the right word, but well, it is in a way. It was, if I was finding life particularly difficult, then one of my escape places and ways to cope was by going to sleep and waking up and having a bit more energy to deal with it. And I feel like at the moment that's been denied to me at the minute, and I guess that's why I feel a little bit more frustrated around it. And the reason why I'm sort of telling you this is because I get a sense that I'm not alone with these shifts that are occurring at the moment. And even if you're not remembering that you're dreaming, there is almost like that waking up in the morning feeling tireder than when you go to bed, and sort of having a disquiet and uneasy feeling underneath. And that can end up rocking you all day, especially if you're sort of focused on what occurred and forget to then take the time to ground and put shields around you so that you can actually walk forward with more confidence and certainty and more balance within. Because if you wake up feeling out of balance, out of sync, as it were, it is even more difficult to get through your day and navigate and negotiate everything that's going off. And you can end up being drawn into different situations or reactions to things that you maybe wouldn't do normally. So it can really unground us. So it's really important at the moment, and if you're having a feeling of that during the day, to stop, take a few breaths and really connect into earth, and remember to put your shields up, really having a feel of where your energetic boundaries are so that they don't get crossed, or you notice that they are being crossed, so that you can put things back into alignment and really understand why you might be wobbled at that moment, and you can actually soothe yourself and nurture yourself going through difficult times. So so that's why I'm bringing that up at the moment. So we'll see which crystal, sort of, if there is a crystal that speaks to this, and see whether the cards are in alignment with what I've already spoken about. We will find out. Something jumped into my hand straight away. So we've got green aventurine, so very much heart chakra. So really treating ourselves with unconditional love at the moment, and compassion, especially in those moments where we're feeling wobbled or bamboozled, or having a fear response. Really giving ourselves permission and being compassionate towards ourselves as those experiences are going off, and working out how to self-soothe at those moments at the same time. So really, and the other side of that is, if you're noticing that that a lot of these sensations or emotions are coming from an external source, thanking it for informing us of something that we may not be aware of, instead of being critical about it or condemning it, actually honouring it, and having that unconditional love and compassion, and noticing that it is giving us more information. So whether that's to show us the way that we don't want to go, or show us a way that we would like to go, because it's always information, it's always useful. But it's also really connecting into Earth and utilising her energy and feeling her love and giving that love back in that nurturing form, respecting form, respectful form, so that we can boost our energy in that level and start feeling fuller, and then connecting up to source and allowing that to come into our heart space as well, and really connecting into that, so that we're feeling more whole. And if we're feeling that something's missing, or we're feeling annoyed or angry or fearful about something, allowing that to come up and really understanding why. What is it trying to inform us about? What is missing? What do we need to do about it? If that's a situation that is provoking anxiety and stress, is there a way we can avoid that? Do we actually have to enter into that? Or is there a way that we can protect ourselves as we walk through that? So really having an awareness and understanding of our heart space within that. And if you focus on the cards for me, I would appreciate it. Split, split, split. And try not to disturb the phone too much as I'm doing this. So this is the third that I've done so far today, and having difficulty recording it all the way through, which is why there's a lot of movement, because I've noticed there's a yellow box. More information you really want to know halfway through a reading, but there's a yellow box, and I think if that yellow box is pretty much present all the way through, then I'm recording properly. I have no idea. So the three cards are the fish, the anchor, and the cross. So the fish for me is abundance, and not just financial, although according to the instruction manual for these cards. It's to do with money, but I've been told quite categorically on a regular basis that it's about abundance, and abundance on all levels. So what's coming through is around in regards to our heart space, that we have got the abundance of love, that we are allowed to receive. We're worthy, we're worthwhile, we are more than good enough to receive love and support externally and internally, that there is plenty of love available, and if we allow it, then we have that abundance to give back and share. So yeah, very much on that level, and going within that, so they all interconnect really, really strongly. So the anchor, very much about anchoring within, anchoring into our heart space, really knowing that, okay, we may have trusted and been hurt in the past, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't trust again. That as we learn more about ourselves, we end up inviting people in that are not going to abuse our trust, or we will notice at an earlier time if they can be trusted. But it's trusting ourselves first to know that we are able to trust other people, that we have got the ability to do that. So really anchoring into our heart space and really appreciating that we are worthy of love, that we are capable of love, that that we can accept love from a higher source, from earth as well, and really having that sit in our heart space. And even at those times where we feel that we've been abused and hurt, or we've ended up doing that ourselves to other people, that's okay but not okay. That that existed, that happened, but that isn't now. That yes, that becomes a part of who we are, that becomes a part of our heart space, but that's no reason for shutting off, from not allowing other people to love us, and it's not allowing ourselves to love us either. That we have got that capacity to accept love and be love and give that love back out. So really anchoring into our heart space with that, our center, our emotional center in a way, and it connects with the sacral. So really having that compassion and awareness that at previous times we did the best we could, other people were doing the best they could, and walking away was the right thing to do to protect ourselves. But opening up to joy and love now is really important. So really anchoring into that. And then sort of the cross at the end is so our ancestors, the universe, our soul family, our guides, our higher self, they're rooting for us, and they're really sending us that love and support and that connectiveness, so that we have got that inner strength to try again, to reach out to other people and to accept that love coming back in. So really nurturing and holding in our heart space. And then as we do that, we're coming back to the fish. So as we start to step into relationships and trusting ourselves around them, and really welcoming love in, and realizing that we're worthy of loving, that we're able to love ourselves, that more of these relationships will just show up. And it's not just from two-leggeds either. It's that loving support from animals, it's loving support from nature, from the birds singing, just hugging a tree. I absolutely adore hugging trees because they have got such a warm energy for me, and they are so strong. They know how to root into earth properly, and they've got their branches going up into the heavens, so they really have that ability to stand as above so below. They really have got that. And for me, hugging a tree really helps me ground back into my heart space and grounding into earth and connecting with source above. And they do have the most blissful wisdom as well, and they've seen so much. Some of them, others not so much, but they're not been around quite as long. But it's finding that tree, it's finding that space to really appreciate that there is an energy exchange with everything. But it's been heart open for that. It is really acknowledging and opening our heart space to the fact that this energy exchange can happen anywhere, that even what we would consider an inanimate object, we would have given that energy for bringing that into our lives. And it's like having, I don't know, a soft toy elephant that can comfort us, that actually really brings that sense of comfort, well-being into our heart space. And actually acknowledging that that's one of the places that we can get that sense of okayness and support and nurture. So using the fish and really being aware of how supported we actually are in the universe, and that it doesn't actually have to come from two-leggeds, but it's learning how to trust that we can support our hearts, and having that unconditional love elsewhere, but also knowing where our anchor points are as well. So for me, there are times when I can anchor more firmly into my heart, as I say, by giving a tree a hug. It's not giving away my heart, it's just sharing. And it's really noticing, are we in relationships, are we giving someone all of our heart so that we can feel loved completely, or are we actually sharing that? Is our initial anchor in our own heart, in our own heart space? Have we learnt to fully accept, warts and all, that heart space, that it has got the capacity to love and be loved? That no matter what we did in the past or experienced in the past, that we don't have to be jaded, we don't have to block off from that heart space flow, and from the universe as well as from other two-leggeds, but also four-leggeds. Dogs give the most amazing love, including cats sometimes, but they can be a bit independent, but that makes them, when they sort of show us affection, that makes it more special and really sit into that heart space. But also sort of like when we attribute, so I always attribute spirit world coming down and being a part of me with having a robin, the robin redbreast. So I know that that's sort of my ancestors that have passed over, or friends that have passed over, sort of keeping that special eye on me, that's showing me that they still love me. So that I allow to come in, and it's sort of being aware of that, because more often than not, we're taught to ignore things like that. Get very blinkered and very stuck in the day-to-day life, but it's being much more open so that we can fully accept the abundance that is coming from all over the place to support and nurture our heart space. So I'm hoping this is making sense. I'm equally hoping that this is continuing to record all the way through. I'm going to see what heart song comes through. Well, that sounds really nice. Heart song today. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I am feeling my love to you and you to me very fully in my heart space, and trying to follow my own words and my own story as well. I know that it isn't easy, and I know that it's a constant attempt to move, and there are moments where we don't feel like we're getting it right compared to others, where we do, we feel that we are, and it's trying to learn not to be judgmental around it, but just allowing that to flow, that we're going to have highs, we're going to have lows. And it's all a process, it's all a learning process. But if we do try and do it with compassion and unconditional love for ourselves and others around us, I feel like we can enter into a more rich landscape. Anyway, I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves in the meantime. I love you all. Bye for now.